It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast of America, and live from the WACA studios, this is Good Night. Our main story tonight comes with the release of the newest Quentin Tarantino film this past weekend, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, debuted to rave reviews and critical praise. However, some are none too happy with the characters Tarantino decided to use when writing the film. Convicted sexual abuser and once famous director Roman Polanski is a character in the film, and the graffiti artist Sabo chose to alter billboards all around Los Angeles before the film's premiere because of it. His doctored billboards plastered the faces of Polanski and recently convicted sex offender and entertainment industry figure Jeffrey Epstein over the faces of the two lead characters, and replaced the title Once Upon a Time in Petalwood. He also used faces of Woody Allen, who is also accused of sexual assault with a minor. The stunt is an attempt to bring awareness to the trend of underage abuse in Hollywood circles, something coming to light with many recent allegations, in addition to other allegations against people like Harvey Weinstein, one of Tarantino's main producers since his inception in the industry. Much has been said about other Hollywood elites protecting each other in the wake of such allegations, and this statement by the artist Sabo takes these people to task. Either way, Polanski's character does not appear very long in Tarantino's film, and in an interview, he says that he views it more of a historical piece rather than a mark of adoration for the disgraced director. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is in theaters now, coming off of Tarantino's biggest opening weekend of his career. Now, in strange weather news, Las Vegas is going through an event of biblical proportions as grasshoppers are descending upon Nevada due to an unusually wet spring. However, the amount of grasshoppers that have come to gamble is honestly pretty terrifying. There are so many grasshoppers in the area that meteorology scans have mistaken the grasshopper horde for a thunderous rainstorm. According to CNN, a state entomologist has said that this plague-like grasshopper swarm has happened a handful of times over the past half century, but that doesn't make this any less horrifying. Either way, if you're heading over to Las Vegas anytime soon, be vigilant and catch those grasshoppers at the slots. However, here's a picture we managed to get from our old friend Frank Serino on his trip to Las Vegas. Clearly none too happy with how the grasshoppers have made Sin City their new home. In music news, it's been a long time coming, 17 weeks in fact, but we can finally crown our champion. Lil Nas X, Old Town Road has stayed at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 17 weeks, making it the longest running single of all time. He has taken out the Macarena, he's demolished Mariah Carey, and he's outlasted Despacito, and you can't tell him nothing. The unprecedented success of the song was initially started through memes on the popular video app TikTok, but was continually fueled to its record-breaking status through its remixes. This sort of loophole in the way Billboard tracks music was the key reason for the song's longevity. Lil Nas X hooked up with the likes of country music legend Billy Ray Cyrus, hip-hop artist Young Thug, house music producer Diplo, and recently RM from the insanely popular kid pop band BTS. All of these remixes contributed to the streaming numbers of the original song, and thus catapulted its way to where it is now. The 20-year-old has seen monumental success through the song, and under no circumstances needs to release another song for the rest of his life. But the critics and the skeptics are wondering if he just might end up a one-hit wonder, or if he can string together a classic album. Only time will tell, but for now, we can all celebrate the achievement of streaming Old Town Road and getting our yeehaw on. And then finally, in tech news, Elon Musk of Tesla Cars has reported that YouTube and Netflix will be coming to Tesla within the next couple of months. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean you can watch Good Night on the go, because it will only be available for use when the car is stopped, according to Musk. This comes after the introduction of Tesla Autopilot and his continuous push to make cars as much like Kit from Knight Rider as possible. Musk advertised it as similar to a drive-in movie experience, only without the drive-in. The update comes with Smart Summon, which will drop you off, navigate through a parking lot, find a space, and come back to you when you're done shopping or whatever you're doing. This is, of course, further pushing for Skynet's invasion and eventually a robot apocalypse. But it's also a super neat feature, don't you think? That's going to do it for the news this week. Stay tuned for Lucy Burdge This Week in Music History, in addition to some bits from our crew celebrating National Threading the Needle Day. And don't go anywhere, because we have what's trending on Twitter to discuss, in addition to an interview with Patriots reporter William Bendetson. So keep it locked right here on Good Night.
This is Lucy Burdge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. We begin in 1955 when Johnny Cash recorded his first version of Folsom Prison Blues at the Sun Recording Studio in Memphis, Tennessee. In 1963, the Beach Boys released Surfer Girl, which was the first song Brian Wilson ever wrote and the first one he produced. In 1982, Survivor's Eye of the Tiger was at #1 on the US album chart. In 1987, MTV Europe launched, with the first video being played was Money for Nothing by Dire Straits. In 1991, a police officer was forced to tear up a traffic ticket given to Axl Rose's limousine after it made an illegal U-turn, because Axl Rose threatened to cancel that night's Guns N' Roses performance if the ticket was issued. In 1994, Aaliyah and R. Kelly were secretly married at the Sheridan Gateway Suites in Illinois, but the marriage was never recognized because Aaliyah was only 15 years old. We know a lot more now about R. Kelly than we did then. In 1999, Christina Aguilera got her first US #1 single with Genie in a Bottle. In 2001, New Orleans International Airport was renamed Louis Armstrong Airport. And in 2003, Sam Phillips, the founder of Sun Records, died of respiratory failure in Memphis, Tennessee. This has been This Week in Music History. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Lucille Burdge for both.
You got that kind of money?
Over the disc. What's up, guys? Connor and Todd from Good Night, and it is National Thread the Needle Day. And since World Trick Shot Day is in December, we kind of interpolated the meaning of National Thread the Needle Day to mean trick shots. So we did a lot of really rad trick shots for you guys and in this video. Check it out.
Oh.
We hit it first try! First try!
There it is. You got that on camera? Yep.
I think that went in and out.
Can we call it in?
I don't know. Hey! Hey-o. All right, so we're up here in the mezzanine. We're gonna start down in the Goodnight set down there. We're gonna throw it up through this barn door, and we're gonna go all the way through here, out through this barn door, into the kitchen. Let's go, baby! First try! You did it, baby. Happy National Thread the Needle Day.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's do a show.
Let's do a show. Dude Perfect, we're coming for you.
Welcome back to Good Night. We're talking about the top trending things on Twitter tonight on Monday night. We're joined, as always, by the young Bobby Orr. Nick Fetherston, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
And Mr. Clean's body double once again joins us again, Todd Carter. Good evening, guys. How's everybody?
Good evening. How are you?
Happy Monday.
Yay.
Trending on Twitter. All right, let's go to the studio. Connor, back in the studio. What's the number one thing we're going to be talking about on Boris Johnson? All right, guys. What do you guys know about the Donald Trump of England?
That people don't like him.
And they don't like him because he's much like the Donald Trump, or?
That's what I'm getting. We kind of got to worry about Trump over here, so I don't really.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's actually more eccentric than Donald Trump, I think.
I don't know if that's very possible.
As a guy who's follically challenged like myself, I'm kind of jealous of his mop of a hair that he has and everything like that. But he's pretty controversial. Todd, any thoughts?
I didn't know about this until just recently, so I'm starting to realize somebody could actually out-Trump Trump. That's
kind of scary to think about.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Is the world ready for it?
No, absolutely
I mean,
not.
I think the world's going to have to be ready.
Well, I think the most controversial thing he's going to do is Brexit. So, you guys have any are you one of the two people in the world who understands what Brexit is and the ramifications?
No.
No,
I don't think we're very qualified to speak on Brexit.
I understand what it means for businesses because I went to school for business management, but other than that, other than the effect on businesses, I have no clue.
All right, well, we wish Boris Johnson the best of luck. Connor, back in the studio, what's the next trending thing on Twitter we're going to be talking about? And that's why I hate Facebook. Todd, you're a big Facebook guy. What do you think?
I mean, I like Facebook, but I get they have all the privacy issues now, I guess, more than any other site. So
$5 billion fine they paid last week. Yeah.
Yep.
Billion with a B. Yeah.
Billion with a B.
What about you, Nick? Why do you hate Facebook?
I don't really. I mean, like, of the social media apps I use, it's probably the one I use the least, but it's not even really because I hate it. It's just because I prefer other ones. I mean, yeah, it's got privacy issues, but honestly, what part of the internet doesn't these days? Honestly.
I find it funny that, if I haven't talked to you in 20 years, what makes you think I want to talk to you now on Facebook? But I find that kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, it's good for marketing yourself for, like, certain jobs. Not every job, certainly, but like I want to get into the theater industry. It's good for marketing in that
Yeah.
sense.
No, but I don't like the censorship on Facebook recently, and it's been proven that there is some. So that's the reason why I
There's
don't.
definitely censorship on Facebook,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Facebook is definitely taking the brunt of it, but I mean, you look at some of the other sites like Google, the amount of data that they collect on people, and
Right.
they're a little bit
insane.
better about their security, I think, but still, you have no privacy on any site that you go on.
No, not at all.
If you're going on it for free, your
I
privacy
I
is.
bought an SD card on Amazon the other day, and for like the past week, I've been getting just ads for different kinds of SD cards,
Yep.
and it's just kind of insane.
But they don't track you, Nick. They don't know what you're doing, right?
Oh, totally, yeah.
All right, Connor, back in the studio. What's next on trending on Twitter? Free Rocky. There you go. We talked a little bit about the president and President Trump, and Nick.
He wants to free ASAP Rocky because that's the biggest problem that he's got to deal with right now. Totally.
What do you think, Todd? Is he going to pull it off?
I don't know. I think he can more than anybody. Of all places, it's Sweden that Aesop Rocky ended up in jail, the most neutral country in the world. So I don't know. He must have done something bad. I don't know what he did actually.
Like,
Do you know?
no, honestly, I don't really follow him.
To me, he must have done something bad to get thrown in jail in Sweden of all places.
Well, he got into a fight, right?
Oh, we're getting signaled now that there was some sort of fight.
Yeah,
Yep,
he
a fight.
got into a fight, and so. But I don't know. Does Sweden dig in to kind of stand up the president and show them that they're not going to acquiesce to his demands, or are they going to?
Look, if we're gonna start a fight with Sweden to free one guy, like seriously, like in ASAP Rocky, like if we're gonna start a fight with Sweden to free ASAP Rocky, I don't think that that's the best.
I don't think
course
that's a
of
good
action.
use of resources.
Right. Whether or not he deserves to be freed is like not the point. It's just like a conflict between the United States and Sweden.
Diplomat Nick Fetherston over here. So you don't think it's worth going to war over, which I would agree.
No. Well, I don't think it's going to start a war, but we don't want any more tensions with this country than we.
But it is interesting how this trends on Twitter and how this becomes such a topic that people talk about on Twitter. So
Well, I genuinely don't think it. Like again, we were talking earlier a little bit about this. Like it definitely was a big thing, but I don't think it would have been as big a thing if the president of the United States didn't tweet about it.
that's true. He is kind of the captain of Twitter. So if it's something that good or bad he attaches to, it gets some play on Twitter. All right, Connor, back in the studio. What's next on trending on Twitter? We talked a little bit about it in pop news. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You're a big theater and film guy, Nick. You excited about the film?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I hope to sometime very soon. Yeah, looks good.
Looks good. What about you, Todd? You a Tarantino fan?
I watch Tarantino movies. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I like his work, but I don't go after it. Usually, I mean, most of his work speaks for itself. It's always really good quality. I'm gonna wait though till it gets into the drive-in. I don't care about the theaters. I feel like that's a good drive-in movie to go to.
Oh yeah, you like the drive-ins?
Oh yeah.
Oh, do you? Where do you go out to Mendon?
Yep, out in
Oh,
Mendon.
do you like it?
Yep.
I don't think Nick liked that too much.
Well, it wasn't the drive-in. We had car issues.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta find the right car.
You gotta, it's
I
gotta be the
used
right
to have
car.
the right car. My new one has the auto start-stop where you have to hit the brake and press the button, and it only lasts a couple of minutes. So every 15 minutes,
Gotta
something
restart
cuts
the car.
out. You got to restart it. So it's weird.
I think the concept of the drive-in is actually really cool. Just our car battery time.
You got to have the right car,
the right car,
or
yeah.
a truck.
A truck
is a ton of fun at the
There you
drive.
go.
Especially like a pickup truck, you can
Yep.
kind of hang
Spread
out
out
in the back of
and
it.
put the lawn chairs in the back and watch the movie.
I used to have a Mercury Mountaineer. It's like a Ford
Yep.
Explorer. And so what we did is one time we took an air mattress, blew it up, put it in the back. It's perfect for the drive-in.
Awesome.
There you go.
You bring the dog. Just make sure you have the right blow-up air mattress, not one with a little thin sheet on top.
So the dog doesn't pop it.
Yep.
All right, so there you go. Todd's tips to the drive-in right here on Trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
Anything else real quick you saw on Twitter this past week that caught your eye?
It's still there.
Still there.
Twitter's still there.
Still there. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's Trending in Twitter. When we come back, the best Patriots coverage in the business. William Bendetson joins us right here on Good Night. Keep it tuned. Welcome back here to Good Night. We're waiting on William Bendetson, who is at Patriots practice tonight. So he's been a little delayed, so we're anticipating his phone call any minute. But Todd and Nick are joining us, following up from the Twitter segment. You guys are all big Patriots fans. What are you thinking of this year?
I think it's going to be great.
I'm excited for all the new receivers and how Brady's going to react to the new receiving core around him, because that's just going to be good entertainment.
I'm worried that Gronk's not coming back.
I was about to say, I think it goes without saying that it's going to be interesting seeing how Brady adapts without Gronk. But
Well, they've got Benjamin Watson back. Benjamin Watson is
4-game suspension.
4-game suspension to start. He is also getting older at this point, but
He is old. at
he's
this point.
he's still been performing at a high level, though. He performed at a very high level for the Saints last year. So I would expect nothing less from Ben Watson.
Well, it should be interesting.
I mean, regardless, we're at the point where it's kind of it's the Patriots. Whether they end up winning it all in the end or not, they're going to do well. It's not going to be one year that they win the Super Bowl and then the next they're awful.
No, they're
So-
definitely not going to be awful.
They're going to be just fine regardless of what happens.
In Belichick, I trust.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is.
The man's a genius.
Belichick, we all trust.
There you go. I think that's the way we have to do it. I mean, they had some bumps in the road last year, and nobody really thought that they were going to win the Super Bowl. But I mean, certainly came out that way. Brady doesn't have a contract past this year. Is that a concern, or? I don't think it is, but.
Honestly, if you asked me a couple years ago, I would have said yes, because I thought he was. I think a lot of people thought that he was actually thinking of retiring, but yeah, no, I don't see him actually willingly retiring anytime soon.
Well, Brady has a really good relationship with Kraft, too. And I have to imagine that if anything is to happen with Brady, him and Kraft already have it worked out. That's something where I think Kraft will go over Belichick, the GM's head, and say, this is what's happening. I am the owner of this team still.
I somehow in my mind think that Brady's already an owner of the Patriots. They just haven't discussed it yet.
Oh, he totally is.
Yeah.
Every decision, it has to be probably some sort of unanimous vote between Kraft, Belichick, and Brady.
I mean, you can say that Brady's been underpaid for the last 10 or 15 years. I mean, only one time in his career was he ever the highest paid player in the league, and that was only for 1 year. He's always taken the hometown discount. Now, granted, he doesn't need the money because he's probably the only player in the NFL who makes less money than his wife does. But he certainly doesn't need the money. But you would have to think that he's got an equity position in the team or something at this point.
Oh, totally.
I mean, just the fact that he's got his TB12 place right at Patriot Place.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's the lease on that? $1 a year? I mean, I don't know, but
It's $1 to him.
I think Todd said it so eloquently. Bob Kraft is always going to take care of Tom Brady, because if there wasn't for Tom Brady, there wouldn't be Patriot Place or the legacy of the Patriots. What are your guys' concerns about the defense this year?
Actually, that's the least of my concerns.
Oh, really?
I think the defense is going to be steadfast. I mean, they didn't have so much turnover. Maybe at the D-line, defensive end specifically, that position with Flowers, right? Flowers was the one that left.
Right.
Flowers left. That's hard to replace, but the new guy, Chase Winovich, he looks really good. I was watching some of the practice highlights, and he's a beast. It's going to be interesting to watch him this year and see what he can do.
What do you think, Nick?
I can't honestly say I've been paying too much attention to training camp, but after the performance of the defense during the Super Bowl, I'd say it's pretty decent chances that they're going to be pretty good this year. You know, saw some really nice stuff. I mean, most of the Super Bowl was defensive for the most part. So
Yeah, it was definitely a defensive game. Now, it seems like the biggest competition in all of training camp this year is going to be in the punter. I don't know. I always thought Allen was a pretty good punter.
Yeah.
Left-footed kicker, so that's always be good. But they did draft a punter this year.
Well, Bill Belichick likes to keep everybody uncomfortable.
Everybody
Yes.
guessing.
Yep.
And Gostkowski's back as the place kicker again this year. So
that's always good.
now Rodney Harrison was inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame today. I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now it's interesting to me that Bill Parcells hasn't been inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame yet. Does he deserve to be in there? I think so. I think 100% he deserves to be there. Because you wouldn't have Belichick, you wouldn't have the Kraft ownership now. You wouldn't have. Parcells righted the ship of the Patriots and put the Patriots on the right course. Now a lot of people think that he gave up on the Patriots and he blew a Super Bowl and everything like that. But Parcells is one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think he definitely deserves to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. But
Totally.
Absolutely.
I think
He
the
definitely.
yeah. Oh, gone.
Oh no, I was saying you look at his coaching tree and what he's produced, and he is by far one of the best coaches. And the fact that a lot of his career was in New England, that says a lot.
I mean, what I was gonna say really has nothing to do with Parcells. Just mainly of I feel like they're just the structure of it all. I feel like they're more in a rush to get players in rather than coaching staff, which I don't think should be the case. I think it should be equal. And again, I don't know if that is the case or not. It seems that way.
now you guys are the younger demographic. The Red Sox just took 3 or 4 against the Yankees this past weekend, and looks like a little bit of life has been restored into the Red Sox season. I think it's a little bit of a blip on the screen. The Yankees still look like they're the team to beat. But football versus baseball with you guys, where do you guys come down on it?
Football, all the way.
Football.
You guys are just bored of baseball? You like baseball, but
It's too long a season. I'll say it a million times. It's just too long a season. You can't hold viewers' attention for that much time.
Yeah, I like the weekly, once a week structure of football. Even if you watch multiple teams, it's you're only going to see that one team once a week. You know,
Right.
with baseball, you see them almost every day of the week, and the games are quite long. So it's not even if it was just a short quick game, I feel like it would still be easier to keep up with. It's not that I don't like baseball. It's I just prefer football. I like baseball as kind of background noise.
now America's pastime is slowly dying. I'm the biggest baseball fan that there is, but it's slowly dying. Do you guys think it's going to be around in 25 years? Or is it going to have to evolve?
It needs to evolve, specifically around the players, and I don't think the MLB does it enough. They don't have many marketable players.
If
What do you
Mookie
think it
Betts
is?
walked into the studio right now, would most people know who Mookie Betts is? The MVP of the league, star player of the Red Sox.
I think everybody in Boston would,
Yeah.
but I think you'd be surprised elsewhere. You send him down to Florida. Actually, Florida has a Boston heavy base,
Yeah.
I think. But I know you send him out somewhere else, and they might not know.
Right.
I think you'd be surprised how few people would know.
You guys been keeping up with what the Celtics did? Taco Fall. Did you guys see that?
I'm excited for Taco Madness.
7'7".
He makes.
You ever see the guy shoot foul shots?
I have not.
What's this? Is this guy 7'7"? I have not heard of this.
7'7".
That's so tall.
Yep.
Undrafted.
How's he buy clothes?
I don't know.
They custom made?
You should see his evolution in college, though. He started off, he was really thin. He's still pretty thin, but he bulked up, and now he can actually move quite a bit for a guy that tall.
That's insane. Does it even need to, he could probably just put it in
Yeah,
there.
you've seen some of his highlights. He doesn't really need to jump. His jump's half an inch off the ground.
He
And
can dunk without jumping.
yeah,
I mean,
he can.
I
put
thought
it
I
in.
was tall.
I mean, I don't know that he can run the floor and everything, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, he's definitely going to be able to protect the rim, and they say he's not a great rebounder, but It's going to be pretty interesting.
He looked pretty good in summer league.
Well, it's summer league, but they signed him to a contract. He's technically going to make the team, so it's going to be interesting to see. All right, so your predictions for the Patriots season, real quick. What do you think?
Either 14-2 or 13-3.
Wow.
I think the Patriots are coming back again in full force. I think the new receiving group will give again new life. Gronk's going to be sorely missed, but
Does he come back after the bye week?
I don't know. I'm going to say no just because of how much weight he's lost, how much muscle mass. It's not just the weight, it's the muscle mass that he lost. He looked really thin recently.
Maybe
but
he
he
comes
looked
back
good.
as a wide receiver then.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who's going to be able to cover him? Nobody.
Not that height.
It might be interesting to see. What do you think, Nick? Prediction for the season?
I think 13-3 honestly is a little bit too ambitious, but like around that generally. Like I think they're gonna do well.
Well, let's look at the division. The Bills, they're better, but they're still not good.
Okay, well yeah, the Patriots are always gonna win like the AFC East.
I think
there's no doubt about that.
I think they beat the Bills both times. They beat the Jets. This year, I actually have them beating Miami in Miami for once.
It's an early game in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
gonna be
usually
hot.
later in the
It'll be hot.
season when there's an issue.
Right.
Well, we have issues at the beginning of the season, but usually that's when that game falls, and it's that one loss late in the season, December.
Well, it's
We'll see.
coming off the momentum of the Super Bowl is always going to be effective in some way, whether or not it's overconfidence or just pure momentum. I mean, granted, coming right off the back of a Super Bowl, that was months ago now, but I don't know. It's going to do something for them, I think.
Hey, guys, we're joined on the phone by William Bendetson. William, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, the best
Hello.
Patriots coverage in the business. Thanks, William. How are you?
Good, Dylan. I'm glad you're back on the air. You're one of my favorites.
Wow, you're definitely my favorite. Are you down at practice right now?
No, actually. I had a prior commitment. Sorry you ran over, and my error, so I feel bad. Hopefully I'm not too late for you.
No, not at all. We're glad. I'm joined in the studio with Todd Carter and my son Nick. We're talking Patriots football. They were just both predicting a 13-3 season. What are your thoughts?
I think that's the prediction. I think they're 12-4 or 14-2. I can't remember. I just think that their schedule is not bad, and it breaks out nicely for them.
Hey, William, are you on a cell? You on your cell phone?
Yeah.
I'm going to dump the call and I'm going to call you right back and see if we can get a better connection. Can you hold for just like 1 second? All right, I'm going to call you right back. All right, the power of live television is always very interesting. We're going to try to reconnect with William Bendetson. And we can probably put him up on the screen there. All right, so when we tried to get William on the phone, he said 12-4, so that's going to be interesting to see.
Oh, is this better?
Hey, that sounds a lot better. Hey, William, thanks for joining us here. Like I said, on the phone, William Bendetson from the best Patriots coverage in the business. William, let's tell everybody a little bit about your website, what you got going on.
Yeah, it's doing well. bestpatscoverage.com, and $12.99 for a season pass and $49.99 for a lifetime pass. And basically, like I said, we try to have the best Patriots coverage in the business. We have Sunday notes, regular articles. We've got video, podcast, so a whole good mixture of stuff. And it's exciting to have this venture going. It's been going well. A lot of people have had me on, like you, to give publicity, so it's very exciting.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that because, William, you've had quite the interesting last year. I mean, Zolik and Bertrand. I heard you over the weekend with Mark James' experience on WEEI. And, of course, we also have to talk about, your experience with Kirk Minahan on Kirk Minahan's podcast. So you're getting a lot of good press out there lately.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Like I said, I've enjoyed doing Kirk. It's been a lot of fun. It's been something, I'm used to talking sports on the air. Kirk's sort of drawn out another side to my personality, so that's been good. Yeah, it's been a lot of publicity, a lot of fun this past year. I've enjoyed doing Zoe and Bertrand. Zoe's become a good friend, actually, in addition to our on-air work, so that's always been good. And back to your earlier question, I like the 13 and 3 prediction. Their schedule is easy early on, other than a game in Miami, and Miami's not very good, but they have to play their week 2 like they did in Jacksonville last year, where it'll be 110 degrees. So wouldn't surprise me if they lose that game because of the heat. Belichick will try to have a practice in the heat, but their record in Miami is pretty. Brady's I think a little under 500 in Miami, and Patriots have always struggled in Miami in September and October. But other than that, the first 6-7 games are pretty easy. And I expect them to be 6-1, 7-1 the first half of the season. And then the second half gets tougher. But by that point, I think N'Keal Harry will be integrated more. They'll fix whatever issues they have at receiver. They pretty much have nothing at tight end. But, if they can fix the receiver situation and get something from Harry, I think they don't need to get too much at tight end. So their defense, I think they returned 9 of 11 starters, so I think it'll be good. And I really like the signing of Michael Bennett. I think he's a much cheaper version of Trey Flowers. I think he's a better pass rusher. He gave the Patriots all types of problems and when he was with Seattle in the Super Bowl 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm optimistic about this Patriots team. The AFC East is once again very lousy. Not high. The Jets are a mess. Buffalo and Miami pretty much have no talent. So, the rest of the AFC, I don't see who can really knock them off. Kansas City will be very good with Mahomes, but,
Right.
And so if they have to go into Kansas City next year, the AFC Championship game, that will be tough. But like they won last year, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're back in the Super Bowl in Miami.
So you've been down to training camp already. Have you seen Bennett since he arrived? I know he just recently got there, but have you seen him on the field? Does he look good? Does he look okay?
Yeah, he looked good, and he just came yesterday, and Belichick let him take care of a personal situation. He was dedicated. He flew all the way Sunday from Hawaii. He has a house there. He had to take care of some family situation. We don't know exactly what it was, but he came in from Hawaii on Sunday, and I think he's ready. The way training camp is now, it's just not what it used to be. A lot less hitting, a lot less, just a lot less overall intense practices. They didn't put the pads in until Saturday. So I think that, Bennett's a veteran. He's here to rush the passer. He's not going to be hurt by missing 3 days in training camp.
Right.
He's a very smart player. So that's not going to be an issue. There's still plenty of time for preseason games, but what he's being asked to do is pretty simple. So like I said, and the same for Edelman. I don't think Edelman, he's going to miss most of training camp with a broken thumb. I don't think he's going to be hurt. He'll be ready for week 1, and I expect him to. Let's not forget, last year he didn't play till week 5. He was suspended the first 4 games. He missed all of 2017 with a torn ACL. And he still came out, and you wouldn't have known he missed the beat. So I expect the same from Julian Edelman. Even though he's 33 now, he looks great. He's got the new contract. That's good. That's not worry about it anymore. And I think that Brady will be excited when he's back on the field.
Well, speaking of Tom Brady, have you had a chance to one-on-one conversation with him during training camp this year?
No, not yet. But I think Brady. Look, I think this thing with the contract, I think it's going to get done before week 1. But if it doesn't, it might be a benefit for the Patriots because he'll come out so motivated to prove that he still has it. If the Patriots don't want to give him a long-term deal, I'm sure he'll be aggravated about it momentarily. When I say long-term, a 2 or 3 year extension, then I think he'll have the best year. And then next offseason he'll have him over the barrel. The only thing they'll be able to do if they can't agree on terms, franchise him. And the franchise number will be about $35 million. So I don't think the Patriots want to be in that situation. I think it'd be smart if they can't agree to just compromise on some sort of 1 year extension. He turns 42 August 3rd next week. So, I understand that Belichick might not want to give him a long-term deal, even 2 or 3 years, but look, even if you have to pay him 1 year at $30 million when he's average, he certainly earned that, given all that he's done with 6 Super Bowl rings.
Now, hey, everybody in the room here thinks he's the greatest thing ever, but how would you characterize his season last year? Still great, but not the best, or what do you think?
It wasn't quite. 2017, let's not forget, he won the MVP. Last year wasn't quite that, but I was more high on it than other people because the first 4 weeks he had no receivers. Edelman was suspended. Gordon didn't play till week 4. So I thought the stats were a little bit skewed downward because of the lack of receivers. I thought when he did get receivers, I still thought he was excellent. I know there were some games on the road in Pittsburgh where he made a couple questionable throws. I just thought there were times where guys weren't open. I thought, let's not forget, even though Rob Gronkowski had a good playoff, he was very mediocre in the regular season and really showed his age and that he doesn't have that much left. I don't think Gronk has that much left. That's why I don't think he's coming back. And also, even if he did, I'm not sure how much he'd add something, and he'd be an improvement over what they have at tight end now. But I just thought he was pretty mediocre during the regular season. So I think that Brady had a very, very good year, and when it counted in the Super Bowl, he made a huge throw to Gronk, and he made the big throws. I thought he was excellent in the Kansas City game and overtime. And yeah, like I said, I think he showed he's still the greatest, and you wouldn't have wanted any quarterback last year more at the big game. Probably if you had to rank the quarterbacks now, you'd put Brady at number 2 after Mahomes. But then again, he beat Mahomes twice last year, once in the AFC Championship game in Mahomes' backyard in Kansas City.
So what do you think they do at tight end until Watson gets done with his 4-game suspension? What do you?
I think they like this guy, Matt Lacoste. He only has 27 career catches from Denver. I think they feel they can develop him. But look, there's not much there. They signed Lance Kendricks, a veteran who's decent. We'll see if Watson makes the team. Even if he does, he's suspended the first 4 games. So I think at tight end they're going to be limited. And I think they're going to try to work around that with the receiver situation and, a lot of James White, who's still I think he's sort of gotten forgotten, but still one of the best pass-catching running backs in the league. And like I said, I think their offense will be fine. Remember, 2006, breaks the team the AFC Championship game with Rashae Caldwell, Doug Gabriel, Jabbar Gaffney, a bunch of journeyman wide receivers, to put it mildly. So I think that I think that they'll be fine offensively. I don't think it's tight end they're going to get. Lacoste, I think will have a decent year. They'll probably find a way to get him 30, 40 catches.
Oh, really? You think that many? Wow.
Yeah, 30, 40 because of the other weapons. But I don't expect it to be huge production from Lacoste. I don't. I just somehow think they'll scheme up things, but to get him some production. But yeah, I think they'll work around. Harry's a big receiver, so I think they'll try to use him at the goal line. But like I said, I think their offense will be fine. I just never worry about the passing offense when you have Tom Brady. He always figures it out.
No, he'll always figure it out. Hey, one thing that's kind of interesting, the punter situation. What do you know about the battle for punter this year?
I give the edge to the rookie Jake Bailey. He's from Stanford. They traded up to the 5th round to get him. He can really boom the ball. I think he's got a better leg than Ryan Allen. A little bit cheaper to keep. Ryan Allen, though, had a great Super Bowl. He matched the consensus best punter in the league, Johnny Hecker, the Rams, punt for punt in the Super Bowl. So.
And he's the holder. And he's the holder, too, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's the holder. And then Bailey would have to take over the holding duties, which I think he can do. I think he did in college. So I like the edge on Bailey. It is weird. Belichick tends to like left-footed punters. This would be his first right-footed punter in Bailey in a long time. But, look, there's a reason they drafted Bailey in the 5th round. He was probably the best punter coming out of the college. So I like his chances, which means they'll have to, trade Ryan Allen because if the Patriots don't want Ryan Allen, he's going to be punting for something. So he's certainly one of the better punters in the league. So they probably have the best punting situation of any team. But they got 2 really high-quality punters. So
other than Kansas City, who do we need to be worried about this season?
Well, the flavor of the offseason has been Cleveland because they traded for Odell Beckham, one of the best receivers in the league, from the Giants. They got Baker Mayfield, the young quarterback, who was really good last year. And I think they will be good. I'm still skeptical they're going to win that division with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. But I think that Cleveland will definitely be improved. I think that they could get a wild card, although it's always tough to say with Cleveland because they always seem to screw it up. But no question they'll be improved. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, I don't think either is that good, but they'll both be competitive. And, the Ravens will have some toughness. The Ravens get the Patriots in Baltimore on Sunday night. So if they win that game and the teams are close, they could, theoretically get the Patriots at home in the playoffs. So, I'd say if there was a second team, I'd still probably have to say Baltimore. The other team is with Andrew Luck back completely healthy. Mm-hmm. Some people like Indianapolis. I just never liked Indianapolis in the playoffs outdoors. And I'm not completely sure about their defense. So I would have to say probably if teams to knock off the Patriots, Kansas City 1, Baltimore 2, Indianapolis 3, and, maybe Cleveland or Pittsburgh 4, something like that.
What's Belichick's mood been around training camp this season? Grumpy as ever, or?
No, I think it's been good. I think the one thing he doesn't want to talk about is the Nick Caserio situation.
That was an odd press conference over the weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, because certainly Caserio thought about leaving for Houston, and who could blame him? He is the de facto GM here, but he's not really the GM because, Bill has full control and final say. And so if he went to Houston, he would get a big pay increase and not only a big pay increase, but also he would have final say. So his contract runs through the 2020 draft. So I do think, I agree, Karen Garigian wrote this in the Herald. I agree with her that I think this is Cesario's final year. And I think Belichick doesn't want to talk about it. It's a little bit, I think it is an awkward situation because, now he wanted to leave and now he's back. And look, guys always look for advancement, but it became so public and the nastiness between the franchises now, Houston, Bill O'Brien, the coach there is the former Patriots offensive coordinator, Romeo Cornell. The defensive coordinator was the defensive coordinator in New England, so there's a lot of connection. And because of that, I think that there's a lot of nastiness. Jack Easterby, who was the character coach, left for a front office position with Houston. He was a Patriots character coach. So there's some animosity. They play this year in Houston, and I think that we'll see we'll see how it turns out. But I do think I wouldn't be surprised if Caserio moves on to Houston in 2020.
All right, he's William Bendetson. William, promote the website because I have to tell you, like I've told people for years, I'm one of your
John, I want to thank you for subscribing. You've been a great subscriber.
Well, hey, it is the best coverage in the business. So tell people about.
Yeah, so it's It's bestpasscoverage.com, all one word. Again, bestpasscoverage.com. I did Best Pass instead of Best Patriots to keep it shorter. Shorter websites always better. Like I said earlier, we have articles, we have videos, we have podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter at William Patriots. Again, William Patriots. If you follow me on Twitter, every time I post an article, I post the link there, so it's very easy. And we try to take fans inside. We're going to have, during the season, exhaustive film review that you can't get anywhere else. Try to have features that you can't get anywhere else. And try to have breaking stories like my exclusive with Tom Brady last year when he played golf with George H.W. Bush. And, and Clinton had happened to run on the day that H.W. passed away. So it was, unfortunately, perfect timing, I think is the best way to put it. And we're just going to try to have great coverage.
I think you,
again, bestpasscoverage.com.
BestPatriotsCoverage.com. Not to tell you ever how to run your social media.
coverage.com.
There you go, Best Pat. You should repost that story about Brady playing golf with Clinton and Bush. I think it was one of the best things I've.
No, I am going to repost it. I had it as a pinned tweet for a long time, and then it got taken down. I don't know if I meant to do that, but I will repost it. And unless this past weekend I was up in Maine, I showed them the article, and they really loved it, Barnacle Billy. So.
Oh, really? Great. Wow. Great.
Yeah. I go there a couple times a year, so.
Good for you. So it's a good time of year to be up there. But if you haven't caught that article, it's one of the best sports writing pieces I've ever read, and I'm a big sports writing piece. So it's kudos to you for doing it. Anything else that we need to know about the upcoming Patriots season?
No, I think it's going to be a good one. I know Brady's 42. The one receiver that's been standing out in training camp is Maurice Harris. Kind of had a checkered history in terms of injuries with the Redskins. He looked good. I think that he could give them some productivity. He might take over as the slot guy for Philip Dorsett, who's going to make the team, I think, but, you know, he's been inconsistent. So Maurice Harris, a name to watch for. I like Andrew Beck, the undrafted tight end out of Texas. They've had him at fullback. He has some versatility. Every year the Patriots seem to get production out of one undrafted player. 1 year was David Andrews, their center. Last year was J.C. Jackson. So every year it's always a question who the undrafted player that's going to contribute. I like Andrew Beck. Toby Myers, the receiver's undrafted. He looks decent. So one of those players I expect to give them some production.
Well, William, thanks for taking time on a busy Monday night to join us. We look forward to your coverage. If you haven't followed William on Twitter, it's a must, everybody. It's a must.
Yeah, William Patriots. Very simple. William Patriots.
William Patriots on Twitter and bestpatscoverage.com, right?
Perfect. Yeah, John, thank you so much, and sorry for being late.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, William. I'll catch up with you soon. It's the great
Perfect.
William
Thank
Bendetson right here. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Thanks for joining us here on Good Night. Special thanks to our friend Lucy Burdge for her This Week in Music History segment, and Nick Fetherston and Todd Carter for our Trending Now segment, and William Bendetson for coming in and talking all things Patriots. We'll see you next week for another edition of Good Night, same time, 9 p.m., same place. Take care, everybody, and good night.